So the last time we talked about Star Wars The Acolyte, I'm talking about this show because it is a proven fact that Star Wars is a dying brand. And every time a TV show comes out, it proves that it just continues to tank more and more and more. Now, the funny thing is this particular episode, or this particular series, I should say, is a series that is doing slightly better than Andor, but it has done worse by a large margin than everything else that has come out before it.
Not the greatest Star Wars. Not the
It's pretty good, let's be honest.
Now, for me personally, it's important to talk about this stuff, even though I know Star Wars content does not do well on my channel. The views just aren't there, but I just really don't give a fuck because I want to talk about this particular show because it is a show that is trying to essentially make the actual real Star Wars fan into the villain. They're trying to make everything be completely reversed from what we know about it. And from my understanding, the last episode has essentially proven that the Jedi are not good guys, right? Which is the entire message that they've been trying to portray since the beginning when they announced this show. If you remember the interviews and the little articles and whatnot that were going out about this particular TV show, they were focusing on the fact that they were telling you won't know who the bad guy is in this particular show. They want to blur the lines between the Sith and the Jedi. They don't want you to think that the Jedi are good and the Sith are bad, even though it's always been that way in Star Wars history. But of course, things have to be different because now you got a lesbian feminist in charge of the show. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says new viewership data for The Acolyte confirms that Star Wars fans are abandoning the franchise. Data analytics from Nielsen, which by the way, it's amazing to me how the data analytics from Nielsen always tell a completely different story than the story that Disney tries to run with at the beginning of every single season release, right? What they'll do is they'll take the first two episodes or first three episodes, however many they released, usually it's two, right? They'll take the first two episodes and they'll run a PR spin about how it's the most successful show since whatever, right? Usually it's since the same year because that way they don't have to compare it up TV shows from the previous year. That's their little strategy in order to make the PR spin seem like it's great for this particular TV show. Yup, it's the greatest show ever released on Disney Plus. That's what they said. And then the funny thing is, with the Nielsen data, it almost always proves to be otherwise. It says that they released their data for the week that The Acolyte had its 2-episode premiere, and it confirms that Star Wars fans are in fact abandoning the franchise. Not only are they abandoning the franchise, but the series is one of the least watched live-action Star Wars premieres on Disney Plus based on minutes watched. Nielsen reported that the show only garnered 444 million minutes watched for its 2-episode premiere at the beginning of June. For a comparison, Ahsoka, which arrived on Disney Plus in August of 2023, had a 2-episode premiere that had 829 million minutes watched. The total minutes watched between Ahsoka and The Acolyte's premiere is nearly a 50% decline, which again, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Ahsoka, it is an ultra-feminist show, right? A lot of people like Ahsoka as the character because of Clone Wars, but still, it was a typical girl boss show that had some good moments here and there according to a lot of reviewers, but ultimately, it was one of those shows that fell off hard and nobody was interested after the initial hate watching. The Acolyte couldn't even garner 50% of what Ahsoka did in the beginning. That is insane, considering that The Acolyte tried to do the same exact kind of marketing that Ahsoka did, which was, we're Supergirl boss, it's all about Force is female, all that nonsense. The entire show is literally based around that, and they couldn't even garner half of the audience that Ahsoka did in the beginning. It's just wild to me. It says there is one big caveat. Ahsoka's 2 episodes had a total runtime of 101 minutes compared to The Acolyte's 82 minutes. However, even if you use Disney's simple total minutes viewed divided by total runtime, Ahsoka's viewership comes out to 8.2 million views compared to The Acolyte's 5.4 million. That is a 34% decline in views. They're literally getting less viewership than Nerdrotic. They're getting less viewership than Critical Drinker. Like, they have YouTubers destroying them in views, and this is a massive company with insane production budgets, right? We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars to produce this absolute garbage TV show, and you can't even get more views than a fucking YouTuber. That is insane to me. It says it gets even worse if you compare it to Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, which arrived on Disney Plus in March of 2023. Nielsen reported that one episode premiere garnered 823 million minutes watched. Like the Ahsoka, it is nearly a 50% decline in total minutes watched. However, it gets even more bleak once you realize that the premiere episode was only 37 minutes long. That means that Disney's calculations, it would be 22.2 million views. That's a 75.6% decline. That's so bad. That is so bad. But here we are, man. People enjoy watching others roast the Acolyte than they actually enjoy watching the show itself, which it has become a thing, right? It has become a meme in and of itself. It's become something that people look forward to. They're like, oh, this is the next latest woke TV show? Great. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm going to go watch my YouTuber, my favorite YouTuber, who's going to watch it for me, and we're going to roast it together and just have a good old laugh about it. That's essentially the new content that is out there right now. If it wasn't already clear that the Acolyte is performing badly, Andor, which had a 3-episode premiere back in September of 2022, hits the point home. According to Nielsen, the 3-episode premiere brought in 624 million minutes watched. That's a 28.8% decline. However, the total runtime for all 3 episodes is 123 minutes. By Disney's calculations, that's 5.07 million views. That's actually a 6% increase. You might be asking, how is it that bad if it's a slight increase compared to Andor? Well, that's because the Andor showrunner, Tony Gilroy, admitted that the show was chasing the audience. Yes, so I remember when Tony actually said that, and this is the reason why that Andor was sold off to other streaming platforms in order to try to, quote-unquote, find an audience, because they didn't have an audience on Disney Plus for this show. They weren't getting the fans that they thought they were going to get. They thought they had such a big built-in fan base that was going to support them regardless of what they did, and they found out very quickly that is just not the case at all. So it was a fuck around and find out kind of situation. Gilroy told Variety, "I think I was surprised. I thought the show would go the other way, that we would have this gigantic, instantaneous audience that would just be everywhere, but that it would take forever for non-Star Wars people or critics or my cohort of friends to get involved into the show. The opposite happened. We ended up with all this critical praise, all this deep appreciation and understanding from really surprising number of sources, and we're chasing the audience," he admitted. On top of this, ex-user Now It's Known also points out that Andor released on Wednesday while the Acolyte released on a Tuesday. That means that the Acolyte had an extra day of data collection during its premiere week compared to Andor. Oh shit, that is terrible. It is terrible. It just keeps getting worse. It gets worse every single TV show. At what point do we start to sit down and admit that Star Wars is in a massive decline? And this is all due to the messaging and the ideology that is currently being co-opted at Lucasfilm by Kathleen Kennedy and all her little gremlins. They are all doing the same exact thing. They are literally the definition of insanity, where they repeat the same actions and expect a different result. All they keep getting is the same exact trash heap viewership, and they're trying to pretend as if they're okay with it. They're running PR stories about how amazing it is, how it's so great, how everybody's so excited for this TV show. But the fact of the matter is, if you are a massive studio like Lucasfilm and you're getting less viewership than some YouTubers out there, you gotta imagine that you cannot be very happy about that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.